Good morning. Today we are going to deal with hepatitis A, C, D, and E. So, hepatitis C virus. It was first discovered in the year 1989 and labeled as non-A non-B hepatitis virus, but later it came to be known as hepatitis C virus. It's the most common cause of post-transfusion hepatitis. About 3 to 4 million people are affected every year, and in India the prevalence rate is about 1%. It belongs to the family Flaviviridae. It is spherical, enveloped, and has a positive sense ssRNA. It has got three structural proteins, which are nucleocapsid core protein C, two envelope glycoproteins E1 and E2, and one P7 membrane protein. So in this picture, you can see the viral RNA E1 and E2, the envelope glycoproteins and the nucleocapsid, and the lipid envelope also. So this is a picture showing the non-structural proteins. Here this is the genome of hepatitis C virus, wherein you can see the nucleocapsid C, E1 and E2, and the non-structural proteins. So these non-structural proteins are utilized in different generations of ELISA test. There are 6 genotypes and 100 subtypes of hepatitis C virus. And when a term called quasi-species is referred, wherein within a given patient, when the subtypes of hepatitis C virus circulate as complex and closely related viral population, that is called as quasi-species. The genotypes 1 and 3 are prevalent in India. The E2 envelope region is the most variable region, and it is also the target for neutralizing antibodies. So that is the reason there is a difficulty in development of antibodies within a patient, because of the variability of the E2 envelope region, and that is the reason for the chronicity of hepatitis C virus. And also there is a difficulty in developing hepatitis C vaccine because of the variability of this region, and also because the neutralizing antibodies are targeted to this region itself. Coming to epidemiology, about 3 to 4 million people are affected every year worldwide. In India, the prevalence rate is about 1%, and about 170 million chronic carriers are seen worldwide. The transmission. There are various modes of transmission. Parenteral route is the most common mode. The recipients of contaminated blood, blood products, and organ transplants, those who are dealing with contaminated needles, and those who have sharp pricks from a contaminated needle, and IV drug abusers are most commonly prone to get hepatitis C virus. There is very low rate of vertical transmission, which is only about 6%. Sexual transmission is very rare. And hepatitis C does not spread through breast milk or casual contacts with the patient. Coming to the clinical features. The incubation period is about 15 to 160 days, average being 50 days. About 20% of them develop acute hepatitis. 5 to 15% will have a spontaneous clearance within 3 months. Chronic cases are seen in 75 to 85% cases. 1 to 5% go on to hepatocellular carcinoma, and 5 to 20% develop cirrhosis. There are also cases of extrahepatic manifestation like arthritis, glomerulonephritis, and joint pain. Coming to the lab diagnosis, HCV antibody detection is the main modality of lab diagnosis. Different types of ELISAs are used. First and second generation ELISA can detect the antibodies to core, NS3 and NS4 antigens. The third generation ELISA is used, which is used now, is more than 99% sensitive, and it becomes positive in just 5 weeks. First and second generation become positive in more than 10 weeks, but third generation is positive in just 5 weeks of infection. Here NS5 non-structural protein is also included. The disadvantages of this antibody detection are that there are many false positive and false negative cases. And also HCV RNA detection is required to confirm the diagnosis. REBA is nothing but recombinant immunoblot antibody assay. It is something like Western blot assay. In the past, it was used as a supplementary test to confirm the ELISA result, but now it is not currently used. HCV core antigen assay. So it is a cheaper test and the turnaround time is much less compared to PCR, RNA PCR. The advantages of this test are that the antigen detection assay can be used to diagnose the active or current infection, and also it can be used to monitor the response to treatment. But the disadvantages are that it is less sensitive compared to PCR. The ELISA format, a type of ELISA format called as MonoLISA HCV, is also available recently, which detects simultaneously both capsid antigen and also antibody to NS3 and NS4 antigen. There are molecular methods like real-time RT-PCR for HCV RNA detection, which is the gold standard method. Diagnosis of acute HCV infection. This is mainly done by anti-HCV IgG seroconversion detection. So here both IgM and IgG antibodies appear during the acute stage. IgM may persist even during the chronic stage for some time, whereas IgG persists for a long duration compared to IgM. So we have to see this seroconversion. And also second one is HCV RNA detection. And the third one is IgG avidity test. Lower avidity indicates acute infection and a strong avidity may indicate chronic or past infection. Coming to the treatment. The goal of the treatment is to prevent the development of complications and also to reduce the viral load to less than 15 international units per ml. And also the directly acting antiviral agents like NS3, NS4 and NS5B inhibitors are also used in the treatment. A combination of DAA with pegylated interferon and ribavirin for a duration of 12 to 24 weeks are used in the treatment. Prevention of hepatitis C is mainly by screening of blood bags and organ donors and also by following safe injection practices. Coming to hepatitis A and E. Both are dealt with together because both are enterically transmitted, that is by fecal-oral route by consumption of contaminated food and water. Hepatitis A. Humans are the only host and the most common age group are children and also adolescents. But many times subclinical infection is seen, but they excrete the virus in stool. Nowadays, the age group in which hepatitis A is seen has increased because of improved sanitary conditions. In Western countries also nowadays we see more severe form of hepatitis A infection in adults. But in India, children are the most common age group wherein hepatitis A is seen, and also it is much less severe and also only subclinical where symptoms are very less. And in adults, the symptoms are very less because of the development of antibodies in adults. Poor personal hygiene and overcrowding are the main reason for transmission of hepatitis A and E viruses. Outbreaks and epidemics can occur, and the virus is excreted in stool about 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after the appearance of jaundice. The hepatitis E is also known to be a zoonotic condition. Mainly cats and dogs are involved. And epidemics have been seen in Asia and Africa and also in India, wherein more than 30,000 cases of hepatitis E were detected. So, compared to hepatitis A, secondary attack rate is more in hepatitis E. And also young adults, about 20 to 40 years, are affected more in hepatitis E compared to hepatitis A, wherein children are more commonly affected. Comparing the morphology of both hepatitis A and E, A belongs to the family Picornaviridae and E belongs to Calciviridae. Both are non-enveloped and both are icosahedral, and both are linear single-stranded ssRNA. Both have this genome. There are 4 genotypes in hepatitis E, whereas only one serotype in hepatitis A. The genotype 1 and 2 of hepatitis E are considered to be more virulent. Clinical manifestations of hepatitis A. Incubation period is about 30 to 40 days. Pre-icteric and icteric phases. These are the 2 phases seen in hepatitis A. And recovery occurs in about 98% of the cases and no chronic state or carrier state is seen. But some cases can go on to complications like fulminant hepatitis, relapsing hepatitis and cholestatic hepatitis. Whereas hepatitis E, incubation period is about 40 days. It has a self-limiting course. Only 1 to 2% of them go on to fulminant hepatitis, but pregnant women have a 20% higher risk of going on to fulminant hepatitis. So, lab diagnosis of hepatitis A, this is mainly by detection of IgM and IgG antibody by ELISA. So, anti-HAV IgM, if it is positive, it detects a acute HIV infection, and HAV IgG antibody detects past infection or recovery. So, HAV appears in the stool from -2 to plus weeks, that is 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after the appearance of jaundice. IgG stays for a very long duration, whereas IgM comes down in a few months. HAV, the viral antigen, can be detected in the stool, liver, bile and blood by immune electron microscopy. HAV antigen detection can also be done by ELISA about 2 weeks before and 2 weeks after the onset of jaundice. Coming to lab diagnosis of hepatitis E, ELISA formats are available for IgM and IgG antibody. IgG replaces IgM in 2 to 4 weeks and persists for many years. HEV RNA detection is available and also electron microscopy for detection of virions of HEV. Prevention of hepatitis A and E. Both of them can be prevented by following general measures like hand washing, drinking purified water, sanitary disposal of infected fecal matter. Vaccine like formaldehyde inactivated vaccine is available for hepatitis A, which is a single intramuscular dose of injection followed by a booster 6 to 12 months later, and a single subcutaneous dose of live attenuated vaccine is available, and also hepatitis A immunoglobulin is available. All the vaccines are highly immunogenic and provide a lifelong immunity. Coming to hepatitis D virus. It is also called as defective virus. It has got a circular negative sense RNA genome, and the protein coat is made up of hepatitis B surface antigen. So, it is also called dependent virus because it needs the hepatitis B surface antigen for its survival. In endemic areas, hepatitis D virus is seen among persons with hepatitis B, and it is transmitted by non-percutaneous route. In non-endemic areas, it is confined only to persons frequently exposed to blood like IV drug users. So, whoever is more prone to develop hepatitis B, the whole risk group also has the risk of developing hepatitis D virus because it is dependent on hepatitis B. Explosive outbreaks can occur in places where hepatitis B is endemic. Two terms in relation to hepatitis D are co-infection and superinfection. So, when there is a simultaneous exposure to both hepatitis B and D virus, the person can develop a co-infection wherein he will have both IgM anti-HBC, that is core antibody to hepatitis B virus, and IgM anti-HDV. In superinfection, the person is already suffering or he is a chronic carrier of hepatitis B, and later on he is exposed to hepatitis D virus infection. So, here we have two phases, acute and chronic phase. In acute phase, hepatitis D virus replicates actively and at the same time suppresses hepatitis B virus, whereas in chronic phase, HDV replication decreases and HBV replication increases, and 100% of them will progress to chronic stage. So, here IgG anti-HBC will be detected, and anti-HDV would be IgM type to start with. Later on, both IgM and IgG will appear. So, anti-HBC antibody, that is the core antibody, is the key marker to differentiate between co and superinfection. HDV RNA can also be detected in the blood and liver in the early days of co and superinfection. Lastly, prevention of hepatitis D. It is same as that of hepatitis B because this is a dependent virus, that is proper screening of blood bags, semen and organ donors, following safe injection practices, following safe sex practices, safe surgical practices and a proper health education. Thank you.